the 1992 SNL Billiards World Open. We're here in Elmhurst, New York. I'm Bob Byrne, and we're about to see a match between the world champion, York Blomdahl of Sweden, and Mike Kang of New York. I'm here in the booth with Mike Shamos of Billiard Archive. Welcome, Mike.
Hi, Bob. It's great to be here. From the matches I've seen so far in this tournament, this is the best billiards ever played in the United States.
I think you're right.
We have Blomdahl, who's been averaging over 1.6 in all of the matches he's played in this finals. We have Mike Kang, who's normally averages about 1. However, he's been a spoiler here. He beat Junichi Komori in one of the early matches in the finals, and he's made it difficult on some other players.
Now, the way this is set up, we have 5 world-class players who have to spot the local qualifiers 10 points in 50. But Kang has been playing very confidently and powerfully. He was undefeated in his 8-man preliminary bracket to reach the finals, and he's starting right out here looking good.
And being one of the unseeded players, Kang, of course, is being given a 10-point spot in this match. If anybody should be seeded, it would be Blomdahl, being the current world champion.
Blomdahl's a remarkable player. Earlier in the week, in a practice game before the tournament started, he was playing Sang Lee, ran a 14, and then a few innings later, he ran 18 and out and added 4 more, so he had a run of 22.
Mike's not happy that he left himself on the cushion here. He'd like to go around to the right off the yellow ball, but he has to be really careful that follow doesn't disturb the path of the ball.
Did that very nicely. Look at that, right on the face.
With a great position, too.
He missed it. Okay, I notice the world champion is wearing a Iwan Simonas cloth patch on his vest. He must have an endorsement contract there.
And fortunately, they're using Simonas cloth on the table, so all is right with the world today. Blomdahl has a very erect carriage. He also bends over quite far over the cue stick, farther than many of the other players in this tournament. So he can sight down it as if it were a rifle.
Well, this is a 6 or 7 rail shot. Six. He scored on the right side of that ball. That gives him another good shot.
Blomdahl is a frightening scoring machine. It's fortunate that he has to make 50 points or he'd be a threat to run out. And when he gets anything over 30, he will be a threat to run out.
After that run of 22, I think he said that his high run is 24 and he's had one other run of 22.
It would be nice if he could pull off a run of 20 or more, because that would be the United States tournament high run if he could do a run of more than 20. For unusual sanctioning reasons, it wouldn't be an official record in this country because this tournament is being played with handicaps. In fact, this game is being played with a handicap for Kang, and therefore any record that's set would not be an official record for tournament play. But you and I would know.
And we would tell the world. Well, he's in control of the balls here.
With Blomdahl, he's such an offensive threat that it's actually a surprise when he misses, particularly when you look at the way he stands for a shot and the intense concentration he shows.
He just ran a 1 and now he followed with a 4. Wonder how Kang feels going up against the world champion. No. Score is missed. 5-3. Scored 1 and he made the break and then scored 4, so he has 5.
Mike Kang is of Korean extraction, lives in New York City. He's an excellent speaker of English, and was one of Sang Lee's supporters when Sang Lee came to the United States.
That was a nice shot. He has an aggressive style, doesn't he? He attacks the ball.
Kang is a shot maker. He just doesn't make quite as many of them as Blomdahl does. But that's what this match is all about. To see who'll make more in the same amount of time.
This shouldn't take long.
He's doing a little diamond system calculation there. That's a problem on those shots. You apply a little draw to get it back in the corner, but the draw affects the rebound angle off the third rail, so you have to make a system correction, which he apparently didn't do there.
He sure left them wide open for the world champion.
Will undoubtedly take this 5 rails.
I'm surprised he's not taking the short angle off the white.
Four or 5. Now leaving a nice short angle shot for himself off the white ball.
I think the red
Or
went
did the
a hair
red drift too far?
Yeah.
Leaving a nice natural for himself off the red ball. Well, he's going to drop it in.
He'll have to be precise. Look at that precision.
Perfect.
He had to hit it perfect and then count on just hitting the edge of the red. There was very little margin of error.
Can he get the red thin enough to go 2 rails up here at the near end and then drop down for 1 more near the white ball?
Doesn't look like he can. This is the kind of thing he does a lot of. 2 rails out of the corner and off the side of the red.
So this really is an umbrella shot, just from a strange position.
I wonder how many players would have played that.
I think there was some safety
Yes,
under consideration there, because Kang is left up at the end of the table against the rail. Going off the yellow first, I can barely see the plan.
There it is.
Now he's reversing out of the corner. It's really difficult to judge, especially on new cloth, to judge how the reverse will take on the slide.
It's difficult handling new cloth. A player like Blomdahl probably is much more used to it than the average player because he's plays in so many tournaments.
Yes, the idea is that a room player like Mike Kang won't see new cloth very often.
No.
But Blomdahl may see new cloth a couple of times a month or even more often. The tables at SL Billiards, where we are today, were all recovered with beautiful blue Simonis cloth before the tournament began. And in the early rounds, the slide was really noticeable.
Well, Blomdahl is all business, isn't he? He's really going at it. Now here's a 3 or 4 rail shot. He's a big target.
I think even in exhibition tournaments such as this one, the world champion would hate to lose even one game, let alone the tournament. So for that reason, Blomdahl isn't wasting any time when he's at the table.
Now Mike has an opening here.
Lightly off the yellow. Around for 3 behind the red.
Little indecision. He's bridging up on top of the rail, shooting slightly down on the cue ball, and that made it a little hard to control. He may say going up the table and hit too much ball.
He seemed a little perturbed about the position that he left himself for that shot too. I think he may have played the previous shot a little too hard and knocked the balls too far down the table.
Here's 2 rails first behind the white. Yes.
He needed to hit the first object ball a little bit thicker to get it back to the rail, closer to the.
He was
farther away
disgusted.
from the red.
As soon as he hit that, he just went over and sat down with a thud. This looks like a spin shot, huh? Spin way over there. He is right there. Too much spin.
The difference in scores is only 3 points. With the spot, that means that Kang is technically 7 points ahead.
And they haven't put the 10 points on the wire.
That's right. I think technically the 10 points shouldn't be on the wire. The way this is run is that the seeded player has to score 50 points. The unseeded player has to score 40. Though sometimes it's useful for the commentators if they put the score up on the wire so we know who's really leading in the match. +2 system.
Yeah, look at that.
Back to the long rail. He wanted to hit the white ball first, not the red.
He missed by quite a distance there. So 8 players came out of the preliminaries to join the 5, so we have a 13.
This has a
13
kind of cross-table aspect to it, wouldn't you say?
That's what it is.
Off the yellow and back there. Very nice, because the red was not particularly big. It wasn't within a ball's width of a cushion. And if he'd missed it on the way in, then there was a little chance that he would get it.
He's playing a +2 also, unless he's going to back up off the 4th rail. No, he flattened it.
It was +2, but you could barely use the system there because the red ball was nearly frozen to the cushion.
That's a judgment call there.
That's all speed in English, rather than aim.
If you have to keep it short, the high English will do that. He's got a good opening.
I see that Blomdahl's watching a match at an adjoining table. The score is not in his favor here. Maybe he ought to pay attention to what Mike Kang is doing. Really an excellent stroke on that.
I love that shot.
Has not left a particularly easy situation for himself. I think Mike really isn't spending a lot of time thinking about position. I think he wants to get out on Blomdahl as far as he can. Take advantage of the spot that he's been given.
How do you like that shot?
Really extremely difficult conception and almost satisfactory execution. Did I say almost?
That was
Perfect
a heck of a
execution.
shot.
You can hear the applause in the background. That's really quite unusual because the atmosphere here is, while it's crowded with spectators, the atmosphere is very quiet, and typically the spectators will just snap their fingers to show
Watch this shot.
appreciation.
Double the rail beyond the yellow and then come back to this end. Oh, nuts! He missed it. On the previous shot, though, I for one am going to hit my rewind button and look at that a couple times because that was an unexpected.
Why do I have the feeling that shot will show up in your column soon? I don't know if Bob mentioned that he writes a regular column for Billiards Digest, an instructional column where he's managed to sneak in three-cushion billiards almost every month, despite the fact that most of the magazine's readers are more interested in pool.
That's true.
And we three-cushion fans applaud him for doing it so skillfully.
But the magazine wants some three cushions, so that's not bad. Whoops, he missed.
Let's say that Blomdahl's been close, but he hasn't been successful. The score stands at 9-9 on an even-up basis, which means that Mike Kang really leads by 10 in the race to 50.
He goes
Mike
right
is
after
really
him.
controlling his English nicely. The balls are a little bit out of control, but he's doing nice things with the cue ball.
Well, I think he can keep this flat. He might even use a tad of hold-up English to make sure he comes out of the corner flat.
He heard you.
He's using a lot of force.
Well, that's why I say the object balls are not in control, because
Yeah,
he is using so much
right.
force, but he's very concerned about making the shots. And at this moment, he's made more shots in this game than the world champion has.
He got a tough break there. That was a nice effort. Well, we owe a lot to Sang Lee, the U.S. champion who owns this SNL Billiards in Elmhurst, for arranging this tournament, giving us the opportunity not only to see these players, but to videotape them with the help of Pat Fleming and AccuStats.
This room is in a wonderful multinational neighborhood. There are large concentrations of both Colombians and Koreans in this area, and that means the restaurants are very interesting here. And I think a lot of the international visitors are partaking of those.
Yeah, I had some fried bananas last night.
Even at the lunch counter in Sang Lee's room right here, they serve American, Korean, and Spanish food at a small lunch counter. So nearly everybody who's playing in this tournament can get some of his own home cooking right in the room.
Nothing quite like New York City.
Follow Tiki, yes. Beautiful. Follow Tiki. By that we mean that he had to, in coming off the first rail, had to hit the object ball very thick.
Right.
So that it wouldn't come out too far from the rail after.
You don't want to go through the hole on that. You want to hit
right.
it full. That was beautiful. I'm going to watch that again on the replay.
Oh, superb control. That looked like a shot from the artistic program.
Yes.
In which you have to hit the end rail twice in succession. And again, you heard the applause from the gallery. Quite unusual here.
They'll applaud for a good shot.
Well, what it really looks like is that Blomdahl simply was not happy at his performance in the first few innings, and he's making up for it with a vengeance right now.
What a talent. When he first came up at the age of about 20 and first met Kuhlman's, I think he won the first game, and he's had Kuhlman's number almost from the start. He's been Kuhlman's nemesis.
Well, that's what makes all these matchups interesting. You can't merely judge a player by his average. It's his strategy and tactics that matter. And sometimes a player with a lower average can really give fits to a player with a higher average, depending on his methodology.
Perfect. You know, sometimes a perfect hit on the second ball is not what you want. Going off one side or the other would be better. Now, what can he do? I don't think he can go thin enough off the right side, so he's just going to zigzag back and forth across the table. You notice he's just doing this by judgment. He didn't even pick out a spot he's trying to hit.
Nice and softly.
Look at that.
In, short, and perfection and a position.
And he didn't spend a lot of time. He didn't spend a lot of time setting it up either. This rail first, or is he going outside?
Rail first. With follow to take it up, and perfect control to just back it right in there.
I think he hit the ball first, and then it took off with follow after it came off. Snap out of this corner. That might make. No, not quite. Yes, gee, he had so much spin.
This is what we mean by a dazzling display of offense.
That's number 8.
In each of the past several shots, Blomdahl has left himself a very difficult position. He's made the shot and left himself again a difficult position.
Now he's deciding whether to go. Oh, now
He
he
has
looked.
to
He looked
decide-
at it 2 rails
Right.
first. Now he looked at.
To decide whether to go.
Right.
It's going off the right side of the red. He has to pick up a third rail right near the white ball.
I could tell he's hoping to get the long rail as his third rail. He didn't do it.
A mere run of 8 for the world champion.
Pretty much the spot that he gave the guy.
He has made up six points on the 10-point spot.
We're only in the 7th or 8th inning, aren't we, Mike?
I haven't kept the count accurately.
There haven't been many innings.
Looked like Kang was demoralized a bit by Blomdahl's run and made a half-hearted effort on the shot. Blomdahl whipped the ball right out of the corner with so much English that he managed to back it out even though he should have missed that shot. And this isn't especially easy either. He can go around the table, but he has to worry about what
Now
the
here's
white's
left-handed, and no problem. He plays almost as well left-handed. Drawing back to the right side of the table. Did he miss? Yep. Score is 18-11.
Which means that Kang is really ahead by 3 points
Right.
with the spot. But he sees it diminishing.
I guess he's drawing back for 4 rails here. He's going to have that yellow ball. Oh no, he's swinging in. Oh, he should have had that.
Should not have used as much draw, it seems.
Yeah. Some interesting things are happening in the three-cushion world. One is the availability of these three-cushion tapes. With AccuStats taking an interest in three-cushion, they now have developed quite an inventory of tapes. If you want to get the list of tapes they have, call this number, 1-800-828-0397.
Well, with the number of three-cushion instructors as rare as hen's teeth, just about the only way you can learn from the masters is by acquiring three-cushion videotapes. And you can watch them over and over again. You can play them in slow motion, single frame. You can watch the exact spot on the ball where the player is hitting.
Look at that.
You really can learn a tremendous amount. And of course, with Bob Byrne's narration, nothing is left to the imagination.
Another thing that's happened in three-cushion recently is Roberto Arana, a fine player who lives in Florida, is coming out with a three-cushion monthly magazine. And his first issue is ready for mailing. If you want to get on that list or find out more about his publication, you can call this phone number, 305-264-0449. Or you can send them a fax and ask for information about the three-cushion magazine, which is called World of Billiards. The fax number is 305-262-3265.
As far as I know, there's never been a magazine in the United States totally devoted to three cushions, except for some newsletters reporting on match results. But this publication, World of Billiards, promises to have technical articles. I believe there's an article on a different system in each issue. And the first sample issue is quite thick. It seems to be at least 40 pages long.
Yes, that's right. It's detailed tournament coverage, news about the players and upcoming tournaments, and analysis, and advertising.
Embarrassing as it is to admit, there's probably more on three cushions in there than even in Billiards Digest.
That's true.
Blomdahl has to pick up the third rail right behind the second diamond there, right where the red ball is. And did it perfectly. It's a good thing they changed over from two white balls to a white and a yellow, otherwise it would be very difficult to give commentary.
It's true, especially when you have 6 tables going with a world-class player on every one. You look away and get intrigued by the adjoining game. You look back and you don't know who has the ball.
That's Blomdahl for you, where mortals miss that shot, he makes it, and that accounts for his incredible average.
Right, and he's still at the table. Well, he has to really feather this one if he wants to get 3 rails. See, he uses a fairly long bridge. He leans down. His chin is only about 4 inches from the cue.
And he hits it thin to make sure that the red ball stays under control.
I think he can spin down off the red here with right.
He can, but he sends the red off into in a dangerous direction.
I think he'll leave the red up at the far upper right-hand corner. Well, he counted poorly on that, so now he has nothing.
And that's the amazing thing about Blomdahl. When we sit here and say he has nothing, just watch.
That doesn't really apply. I agree that that was a poor choice of words.
Is he going off the white to the right for
He's
four
going
or 6 rails?
A little bit of a hold-up, I think, for 3 cushions.
Ah, yes. Keep control. But missed.
It's hard to stay short on this new cloth like that. The blue color
especially
shows,
when it's been playing long.
It shows up well, doesn't it, on the screen, the blue cloth.
Blomdahl has now made up the spot, so that even with the spot, he leads Kang 23 to 11. AccuStats
comes into a room to cover it with television coverage has to change the lights, and one of the first things they do is take down the house lights over the table that's going to be taped and put in their own bank of television lights. See, there they are. A row of very powerful incandescent bulbs, then a framework with a parachute silk under that to diffuse it. And it's not too bright for the players, nobody complains. But this table does have slightly more light than the other tables.
With the diffuser, it gives a very nice even light over the table.
Yes.
There are no hot spots. Kang, on his last shot, really looked pretty demoralized. Made a half-hearted effort and missed. I'm guessing that his hope was to make progress while he was still ahead on the spot, and now that he's behind, it's going to be difficult to catch up with the speeding locomotive.
This will look nice on the overhead, up and down the full length of the table. Perfect. That looked great. We have probably the fastest reacting cameraman in the business here.
Bob, what facet of Blomdahl's game is it that accounts for his amazing average? Is it aim? Is it shot selection? Position play? What would you say it is?
Well, you'd have to say it's all of the above. You can't get an average like that without being tops in every category. He must have, there's a lot of things that go into being a top player, including attitude, ability to concentrate, hand-eye coordination, desire, willingness to practice hard, good teaching.
Now that's a shot where I go through the hole and Blomdahl counts.
Yes.
How does he do it?
You'd say, gee, I just barely missed that, but he makes it. So you're sitting in a chair and he's still at the table.
He's the world champion and I'm just talking about it.
What's he gonna play here?
3 on 2, double the rail.
So he has to hit it thin and draw back around the white, or can he go straight down?
Well, he had us all fooled.
Oh my God! What a shot!
With just a little more of some kind of English and a little more force, if he can make that ball go another 12 inches, it makes.
That was an interesting selection. He could have made it out of either end rail at that speed. One of the characteristics of Blomdahl's game is that many top players mention is his creativity. He comes up with some amazing concepts.
Mike's been spending too much time away from the table watching Blomdahl shoot, so when he does step up, he just doesn't have the precision that he needs to make those difficult shots. He's also fallen into the trap of watching other matches instead of watching Blomdahl. He needs to concentrate on this match or he just won't get back in.
Game. Cross table, there's a kiss to beat.
Typical of Blomdahl, he wasn't even close to kissing there. Although if
What a
I'd
nice
played it,
shot.
it would have been smack dab in the center of the object ball.
Notice he played that just 3 rails and he didn't hit it real hard hoping for a second way. He played it with precision instead.
Which goes to the confidence factor that you were talking about before. Oh.
Missed the first ball.
Yes. Missed it twice. 2 chances to get it in and still almost made the shot anyway if the angle had been a little different from the first object ball.
This is makeable, but it's a bear of a shot. Length of the table. You need there's Mr. Blomdahl with his bow tie.
Watching, he was looking at the score string.
Looking
right
for
then.
divine assistance.
No, just wanted to see how far ahead he was. He really hates to have to take the yellow out of the corner here, but he's going to.
What did you do? Hit the
That
wrong
was
rail? I guess he hit the wrong rail
just a
after all.
mistake. It didn't even look as if he hit the ball hard enough to count.
All right, is he going to just play off the red? No, he's looking at another shot. Doesn't like that either. Just go along this long rail and drop in behind the white. That's what he's looking at the angle.
Up, down to the bottom rail, side rail, and then the top rail.
And he has to do it in a way that the high English doesn't make it bend. Gee, he played that with such nice speed. I would have babied it and missed it probably.
Five here?
5 rails, and all he has to do is avoid driving the red into the white and avoid...
And avoid hitting the white on the way around.
I think he's playing a reverse cross table.
He was thinking about going to the left side rail with reverse English and pull out of the corner. It does have some kiss avoiding properties.
Now
it looks as though he's changed his mind.
Now he has a couple of kisses. The red has to be thin enough to miss the white, and it has to be out of the way before the yellow gets over to the third rail. Oh, this way. See, now there's a shot we didn't think
That's why
of.
he's world champion, because he thinks of that, making the white ball huge on the way down.
Once he bends down, he doesn't spend much time. Just a few strokes.
He's not indecisive, and being the world champion is no mean feat these days with some up-and-coming players like Sanchez, who ran 14 yesterday, who's at this tournament. With players like Kamori, who scored 20 points in 3 innings yesterday. And Sang Lee, who's a threat to run 20 every week. So for Blomdahl to be the world champion, it's something he really has to keep fighting for. Mike struggled to make that. He shoved his body through the shot, but it didn't hurt.
Blomdahl first won the World Championship in 1985, in a year that Kuhlmans had switched to the Pro League, and Blomdahl went to Cairo and won the old UMB Championship. That was the last time that event was held. And since then, they've determined the championship by the best overall score in a series of 5 tournaments.
How old was Blomdahl when he first won?
Oh, he was about 23, I think. And then in '86, he still didn't compete in the Pro League. Kuhlmans won that year. The next year, Kuhlmans was first, Blomdahl was second. Then in '88, Blomdahl won his first World Professional Championship, averaging 1.59.
In the European format, where they play sets of 15 points, on a number of occasions, Blomdahl has run out his 15 points from the break.
He won again in 1991, with Kuhlmans second.
That was quite a conception on that shot. Even with the 10-point spot, Blomdahl still leads Kang 29-16. Kang playing to 40, Blomdahl playing to 50.
In late April in '92, I'm looking at some statistics here from a tournament called the Simonis Challenge that was held in Antwerp. Blomdahl won that with a grand average of 1.96. Kuhlmans was third, Sang Lee was fourth.
Recently, a number of players have managed to average 2 over entire tournaments.
One of them is Blomdahl, and apparently Coleman's has done it once or twice. Incredible. 10 years ago, that would have just seemed out of question.
Now, this is a difficult position. Kang probably thinks he's left Blomdahl safe.
That was some idea.
Kang was right.
That might cost him.
A great effort. It's really nice to see that there is no ungentlemanly behavior of any kind going on in this tournament. There's no sharking, no attempt to distract opponents,
No.
no loud noises, extravagant motions. Everybody's just here to play beautiful billiards.
They say that Blomdahl plays pretty good snooker. I know he plays good
I've
pool.
seen Blomdahl play snooker, and it's categorically frightening. He will, on a 6x12 foot table, he'll bend over, practically without taking any warm-up strokes. He'll shoot the ball and drill it right into the center of the pocket.
And I notice his stroke is similar to the snooker player's stroke, where on the final backswing he pauses with the tip at the bridge hand for a split second before he comes forward, and all the snooker players do that. They teach that in the books.
The only cue game he has not yet mastered is pool. And when he does...
On the contrary.
Well, I'm talking about at the level of the U.S. 9-ball players.
No, he's every bit as good as they are. And in several European tournaments with top American players, he has finished second and third. And he won a major tournament in Europe against top players. So he is a 9-ball player.
Well, I guess what we'll need to do is see him come over here and play the U.S. 9-ball players on their home turf.
He may do that one of these times. He's fully competitive. Too long. That's why I'm up here.
It's just so tough to imagine him beating Varner at 9-ball. I'd love to see that.
I don't know that he has ever played Varner. He might have. He won a major tournament. I can't think of which one. I think it was in Sweden.
He's going to double the rail off the red because it's so too tough to come off the white and catch the corner sharply. 1, 2, 3, so smoothly,
Like
right
nothing.
on center.
That's an easy shot for him, I guess. Well, that'll be a rail first off the yellow. Excuse me, he has the yellow.
Yeah, does he have enough room to pull off the white ball to the right?
Oh, no.
Or is he just going to try to come,
He's going to come in
short off the red and back out of the corner?
Now let's see if the red is going to be in the way to kiss him out. God, did he want to hit it that thin? Mike Kang has asked for a break. Can we pick up the table?
Well, during the breaks, we often pan around the room and see what other matches are in progress.
There's Hernando Piñeras. He owns one of the best rooms in the country, New Wave Billiards in Miami, Florida. All Soren Sogard equipment. He's a great guy, a jovial guy. His favorite expression is, "Oh my God." There's Bob Strange. He used to own a room in Lansing. He was one of the earlier supporters of three cushion when it was in the doldrums in the late 60s. There's Mr. Blomdahl waiting for his opponent to return from the bathroom, I guess. Some of the spectators. I don't see hats worn much anymore, but there's one.
Well, not indoors too frequently, but it goes with the rest of the outfit. Here's a match between Bi-Soo Kim,
Yes.
who's at the table shooting, and Jose Paniagua, who's a Pan American champion.
Yes, you're looking on the screen at Danny. I can't think of his last name, but he works here at SNL Billiards.
He's the referee for this match between Kim and Paniagua.
There's the poster that you can see is a poster for the new magazine, World of Billiards. Subscribe now.
That's Paniagua on the left of your screen. He's one of the few players who plays with a glove on his bridge hand.
Very nice man from Mexico City, and he speaks excellent English.
And he's a fabulous trick shot artist. He plays some typically Spanish trick shots which involve large numbers of pieces of glassware on the table. The idea is if you don't hit the shot exactly right, you'll get a lot of smashed glasses. And so the shots are very entertaining for that reason.
He told me he also he has won the Pan American Championship now twice in a row, and he has also won the Pan American One Cushion Championship. He likes one cushion. And
he's a seeded player in this tournament, and within the past couple of months, he's had a run of 16 in tournament play, Paniagua.
And there we have Adrian Viguera of Mexico, who now has been in Chicago for quite a while.
He's recently begun making cues. He's developed a very interesting taper for the cue. It begins narrow at the tip.
Now, if you could pan down his cue to the
a
joint,
bulge right where his hand is,
the joint,
and then as you approach the joint of the cue, which we can't see in the picture right now, but as you approach the joint of the cue, it becomes narrower again before the joint. And Adriano claims that he's able to eliminate the phenomenon of squirt with the cue of that shape, and it's remarkably effective. I've actually tried the cue.
Is that so?
Another amazing thing is that the cue provides such a solid hit that he's able to play with an incredibly light cue for three cushions.
Mm-hmm.
Care to guess what the weight of his cue is?
Well, okay, I'll guess. 16.
It's unfair to ask this, but it's 14 ounces.
14?
It's his tournament playing cue.
Mike Kang has returned from wherever he was. Maybe he took some last-minute coaching. He's back at the table. He has 16 points. Actually, 26 with the spot. Blomdahl has 34. They're going to 50.
Whatever he did in the during the break must have worked.
That was a very nice cross table.
And he's left a nice position here. He drew the white ball over to the side rail.
That's going to spin out and not make.
Unfortunately, had too much English on it, came too close to the corner and missed. So Blomdahl is 7 points up on the spot.
He should make at least 2 here.
He's 17 points up overall.
Comes up behind that. He knocks the white in the corner, but it went too small. Now he's got maybe a rail first off the
I think he wanted the yellow to stay closer to the long rail, right behind the red for a nice natural three cushion shot.
I think he's going to uncork a crowd pleaser here.
Is he going to go off the rail first, off the white?
I think he's looking off the red, but I still haven't decided what he's going to do. I think he's going to go twice up and down the table. He's sure scoping this out, isn't he?
He has a very erect carriage. He holds his frame nicely
Okay,
upright.
I think he's going to try to, well, what he's looking at
In
there
that
is to
respect,
draw all the way over to this side, of the left side of the table. He's given up on that.
in that respect, he stands somewhat like Jim Rempe does. Very straight carriage, straight build. Or is he just going to draw over to the long rail?
He's doubling the rail. 3 rails first.
Even using... Ooh. That came within 2 inches of being the best shot of the tournament.
That's something to remember, that idea, when you're really stuck. Nice effort.
Particularly good from the position he was in, being almost frozen to the rail. He counted and is now stuck behind the red ball, leaving almost cross table as the only opportunity.
Yeah, I think he'll shoot off the other side of the red, really. No, he's committed to this shot. Boy, this is going to be a real zigzag.
Well, that means he'll have 3 before he comes near the yellow ball.
Oh, he's coming short this way. That's a score.
That takes a lot of power.
He's got it. Nice one.
It's a fabulous shot. You can hear the applause.
There's a lot of places to play billiards in the New York area now, whereas maybe even 5 years ago, what we were down to, well, Julian's was the only
before
one.
Chelsea Billiards opened in early '89, there were only 2 places to play pool at all in Manhattan.
That's '89.
That's right. Down from thousands during the 1930s. The center of three-cushion billiards in the United States appears to be the borough of Queens in New York City, where there are more public billiard tables than there are in virtually any other state in the country. There's Master Billiards, there's Steinway Billiards, there's Abel's Club, there's Champion Billiards, SL Billiards, all of which have large numbers of carom tables. Every one of those rooms, I believe, has at least 6 carom tables.
And they're all the fine imported European
Every
tables.
One. All heated, all with 2-inch slates.
2-inch slates. Florida is kind of a sub-center. There, in a 50-mile stretch, there are 18 new European tables from Miami going 50 miles north.
Blomdahl's gotten thrilled with these rail first shots. He made one, then another, almost.
Well, he's keeping up his pace, 36 points. Oh, with that 10-point spot, you can't count Kang out. Well, missed that by 6 inches. Maybe I'll count him out.
Well, Kang needs 21 points to win, and Blomdahl only needs 14 points to win. So you decide whether anybody's to be counted out yet, but Kang's shown us some beautiful shots, but he hasn't shown sustained offense. No big runs, that is.
Blomdahl walked to his seat without even looking at the balls because he knew they were going to kiss. Every position is different.
And not just that, but every player plays them differently. Depends on his conception of the next shot, what he wants to achieve here.
Too much hold up. How do you narrate the yacht race? I know there's been yacht races on America's Cup, but I think that would be pretty tough. As a commentator, you say, oh, it's a nice day.
Well, I think there's a lot of talk about jibs and other sails.
Or you say, I'll bet that water is really
There's
wet.
a lot of discussion about how much money was spent on each boat.
I heard the television ratings weren't very good for the America's Cup.
The only thing he would be thinking about here is exactly where he wants that white ball to end up. He knows precisely what shot he wants to take. It's just where to hit the white and what speed.
There he drives it to the long rail.
Yes.
Brings it back to the same long rail where he's going to score. But he didn't score.
Didn't score.
But it was a chance worth taking to shoot softly because he could have gotten a run.
Yes, he's taking the ticky.
This is not an easy ticky. Oh, you made it look easy.
He almost could have left himself a better opportunity. The ticky was easy enough that he could have paid a little more attention to the yellow ball. And now he has a somewhat tougher situation.
No, he played that real soft to protect himself. Got perfect count on the red, sliding over to the left for a perfect...
Yes, he had to go directly into the corner where unpredictable things can occur depending on exactly which rail you hit first and what English you have.
He seems to be playing with a little more finesse right now. Early in the game, I think he would have slugged that one. Three. Well, looking this over.
Looks like he's thinking of some rail first possibilities, but he's actually going to hit the red ball first.
I think he's going to hit that real thin and draw back, staying on this right side of the table. There it is. Oh, he missed by an absolute hair. That's an old-time shot. I learned that in 1954.
Blomdahl is only ahead 4 points on the spot now. He needs 14, and Kang needs 18. Blomdahl's been playing a much better game than Mike has. This particular game shows you how powerful a 10-point spot in 50 is.
That's right, that's hefty. He sold out again.
Kang might be able to pick up a few here. He'll come short on the yellow, knocking it a little closer to the corner.
Blomdahl just glanced a bit nervously at the beads on the wire.
He's coming long. That confuses me because that leaves a kiss possibility.
He almost got the kiss too.
Whereas there can't be any kiss with the if you come short. Now this position is one that can end up in a Bob Byrne column. If he goes,
the column I write for fantasy and
if he goes to the bottom rail and all the way back down to the two balls, he has to have a really precise hit to catch the third rail.
Well,
and I can't imagine what he can do by hitting the yellow ball first.
He's going to go cross table. No, he isn't. He's going outside the ball, so he's going to use hold-up English to try to lengthen that end rail.
Drop down to the right side
there
rail, yes.
Look, he overdid that. That's hard to do. That's on this new cloth that still had plenty of reverse.
Blomdahl a similar shot.
Yeah, now what's he going to do? He's going cross table. It's a touch of hold up. Blomdahl
had enough hold up, but He hit the long rail too far too far down toward the corner.
Ah, he sold out again. This
He
is
left Kang a beauty here.
if you can cut the yellow into the long rail, it should come around a little bit. Oh, he got a perfect
position.
count on that.
Perfect count. He knocked the red ball a little bit out of the corner, so it becomes a much bigger ball, and the yellow is sitting perfectly.
On this one, you probably drive the yellow.
Drive the yellow up to the short rail
cut
first.
it.
3 rails. Ah, he should have.
He cut it and he got into
avoid
the
the kiss. He should have driven it. You're right. It's too bad because he had quite a good start.
Now the tables are turned and it's Blomdahl that has the balls.
Hit the ball a little harder than he wanted.
Didn't turn out well.
Kuhlman's advice is to hit with enough speed so the second object ball ends up about 1 foot away from the cue ball.
That's ideal.
Here we have a distance of about 9 feet, not 1 foot. And so Blomdahl has basically played safety against himself.
Well, if he had hit the red ball going in, he would have been all right. What's he doing? He hasn't decided.
At this point, Blomdahl is up 2 points on the spot.
Okay, I think he's playing 5 rails. Just because
it's difficult. It has to come in and hit quite hard. It had to hit the red hard and miss the red. And,
on most tables, you could not get that long on a 5-rail shot. The tables most of us have to suffer through.
Can Mike hit the left side of the red ball thin enough to go 5 rails around?
I don't think so.
And also thin enough to not kiss the yellow out?
I think he's playing 3 rails. He's going to try to drop in behind.
Right in behind?
No, I guess he's playing 5. Well, see.
He must have really had to feather it because he missed it. Oh my.
Look at Blomdahl is smiling.
Everybody's scared here. He almost made an incredible fluke.
Blomdahl's father is also an excellent player, Lennart Blomdahl.
Has he been European champion in the
He
past?
won the European Championship in a year when all the top players are in there. He's a solid 1 player.
A brief diamond system calculation. When Blomdahl takes the time to think and calculate, you can see the result. He's very dangerous.
I don't know if he counts numbers or not.
He's close to the end rail, so while he might have wanted to go off the white ball to the left side rail, that's quite difficult from this position. That's why he's walking around, pacing back and forth around the table.
I don't think he's decided definitely yet, has he?
He made this rail first with hold up, or
I think he's
go
just
all the way around
he's
naturally?
drawing it long. No, I don't think he is. Oh, yes, he is.
The world champion does his stuff.
The way he was cueing the ball, looked like he was cueing it in the middle, but when he pulled the trigger, he dropped down.
The red ball in the center of the short rail, the danger zone.
Yeah, that's the worst place to leave the red ball. He's just playing a +2 here. He doesn't like it, though. I think you go off the left side of the red. Shows what I know. Wow, what a shot.
The world champion makes a beauty out of a tough situation.
I sure didn't think of that shot. That's why it's fairly useless to play safe on these people.
There's really been very little safety play in this tournament. Safety play doesn't do much for you if your opponents are capable of running 10 or 15. It's basically it's been a break shot and then off to the races.
Very nice. That's 4. 4 with a big ball in the corner. A perfect chance for 5 rails, and all he has to use is some judgment to miss this kiss down here.
Blomdahl needs 10, Kang needs 15. Blomdahl shooting with a good position.
I think it's too long.
And left fairly safe.
Looks like a cross table with left-hand English.
Yes. It's so tough to have to come up with this against the world champion when you're down.
Yeah. Well, he missed it the hard way.
Blomdahl's just pausing so Kim at the other table can make his shot. Kim missed, and Blomdahl probably won't.
Using an open bridge there. Yeah, I notice he does that occasionally, open bridge.
Seemed appropriate because he was so close to the rail.
What a shot.
Even though the referee got in the way because he had to see the count, you could tell from the path of the ball that it was dead on. The referee is supposed to position himself along the line tangent to the second object ball as the cue is approaching it, so he can see if there is a glancing collision or not.
Yeah, you could really have a referee school and teach them a
Well,
lot.
in my opinion, you should have a referee school in the United States because there are so few people, even good free cushion players, who really know what refereeing the game is about.
Danny McGurty said in the old days when he was playing in a tournament, when he didn't know what to do, he watched and see where the referee went to stand, and then he knew what shot he was supposed to play.
Well, I think the referee has to be very careful not to give subliminal suggestions to the player by making a move before the player does. That's really part of refereeing, is you wait till the player becomes decisive and you follow him, not the other way around. Blomdahl needs 6 and Kang needs 15 for victory. So I hope I'm not out of line by suggesting that it's simply a matter of time, and a short time at that.
Especially with an opening like this. No, he's probably going to drive the... Well, I can't tell what he's doing. Cutting the white thin and coming in real short.
I notice in the past few innings, I don't know whether it's deliberate, but he really hasn't been leaving Kang anything.
That's true.
He's faced with a tough cross-table shot here, or something else difficult to conceive, as you can see from the expression on his face. Just really has no good plan as to how to attack this shot.
And if he goes off the writ, now he's looking, I think, at a bank.
The balls look to be about 18 inches apart. And so any bank shot when the balls are that far apart is...
He's playing an umbrella.
Severely difficult.
2 rails
2 rails
first.
into the red and then off to the right side rail.
Yeah, it's not a bad choice. Now from where you're sitting, you can look right down his cue and you might be able to tell if there's any squirt.
two rails, red,
He made it.
side rail. A
Beautiful
beautifully
shot.
conceived and executed umbrella shot. Supposedly the term umbrella originated because the shot appears to open up like an umbrella after the first ball is contacted. However, after years of watching umbrella shots, I never saw any umbrella openers. Have you?
No, not really.
That umbrella really was a last gasp at life for Mike Kang, and he pulled it off.
And he's still at the table. This one you should shoot real soft. It's the only way to get long. And he did.
One thing that Mike is showing by making these shots under tough circumstances is how high the quality of even the unseeded players is in this tournament.
Good point.
Against the world champion down so many points, to think about that umbrella shot and pull it off successfully is the mark of a very fine player. If there were a tournament restricted to residents of the United States, then Mike Kang would have a very good chance in such a tournament. He's really an excellent player.
I think he has played in one or two of our nationals, and he was always, he hasn't won, but he was always right in there. The United States, one of the problems here is it's such a huge country. It costs a lot for players to go to the national tournament from one coast to the other, and we don't have sponsorship to
Not like
cover that.
Belgium, for example.
Yes, you could walk over to the other side.
Another beautiful idea here. He wants to go two rails first, but he knows he's going to have to get back to the side rail again. And it's difficult to reach.
He's not the tallest guy. Now, Blomdahl could probably reach over and get at that, and that's a big advantage.
So is he going around the table, or is he using reverse English?
I can't tell from my angle.
1, 2,
It's a nice one.
3.
He's hanging in there.
If he'd played like this at the beginning of the match, he wouldn't be in trouble now. Blomdahl needing 6. He can run 6 while snoozing. So Mike Kang really needs to see that he doesn't get the chance.
Oh, gee. Tough break. He ran a 5
Incredibly
there.
close. I'm not even sure the referee was in proper position to see that shot.
He has 30 without his spot. So actually has 40, and Blomdahl has 45.
Of course, the unseeded players are not all of equal ability, but they all get a 10-point spot against the seeded players. In a couple of cases today, the spot has turned out to be very accurate.
Right, it has leveled him pretty well.
Right now, Blomdahl is only up 4 points on the spot. Well, 5.
Now, can he cut the red away from the white and go off the right side of the red? That's what he's looking at.
He may be able to, or he may have to think bank thoughts.
Now that's what he's going to do. Cut the red and miss the white, and make sure the red is far enough down the table so it doesn't kiss out the cue ball.
Right. Exactly. He made it look as though there were no kiss possibility at all. He just shook his head a little bit, as if he's not happy with the position.
Yeah, it didn't turn out quite the way expected. I think he's going to spin the ball over to the side rail. Look at that, right in the face.
Yes, he's an in-your-face kind of player. probably not thrilled about this either. In fact, he just frowned a little bit, put his cue on his shoulder, as if to say, "What will my next trick be?" That's beautiful because he played it so there was no possibility of a kiss.
Gee,
If
that's
he'd gone
so
off
nice.
the other side of the white, he might have kissed.
He missed that by a split hair.
A reprieve for Kang, with Blomdahl needing 4 points for victory in the final round robin of this tournament, which started out with over 30 players and is now down to 13. 8 unseeded and 5 seeded players. Mike Kang earned his way into the finals by winning in the preliminaries.
Blomdahl ran 3 last time, so he needs 3. He has 47.
Thank you for the correction.
That was a nice shot. He's hanging tough.
If Mike can run 9 more, he'll take it.
Sang Lee has really electrified billiards in the United States. You know that, to come here, everybody is so impressed with him as a
There
player.
are people who will fly from other cities to come and just watch him play, not even in a tournament.
Right. And now for him to put on this tournament, it just shows what a big influence he's had.
Yes. It may have happened there as the tables are running a little longer now as the cloth becomes used. And Mike didn't compensate for it, and he realized it while the ball was on its way. Yes,
What's he going to do? 5 or else? 5 and come in short?
You're just missing the red?
No, he's going off thin off the white, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, what a shot. Isn't that fantastic?
World champion stuff.
I got to applaud myself on
even
that.
Mike Kang applauded that shot.
Right.
It kind of makes it clear that the champion is not going to give up in this match. Drop right down to the left side of the white.
Yep. All right, let's shoot this pretty soft so the effect will take.
A lot of English.
He has to get his hand out of the way.
Not enough.
That was delicate.
Prolonging the agony, needing 2. Mike needs 9.
But Mike applauded and smiled when Blomdahl made that, because it's a pleasure to get beat by a guy like Blomdahl, to be up there playing against him.
At least you get to watch him up close.
Yeah.
Very pretty right there.
He's no slouch.
To have to make those just to stay in the match, though, is a tough burden.
I was impressed last night, too, when Danny Sanchez, the 17-year-old Spaniard, ran 14. All the play on the other table stopped, and for the last half of that run, and all the top players, Blomdahl and Sang Lee, they were so thrilled and pleased that the youngster had made such a wonderful show.
Well, all anybody wants here is to see good billiards played.
That's right.
And the players just want to play good billiards.
On the other hand, there's quite a bit of money involved in the prize fund. The 32 at-large players each put up $350 to enter, and Sang Lee himself added $4,000 to the prize fund, so they're shooting for a good piece of change. I believe first prize is $6,000. Not quite.
Blomdahl wanting to close the door, but it just wouldn't close. Kang's been whittling away. He needs only 8. but this is really quite tough. Going off the right side of the red is tough to come long enough. It's a little easier going off the left side. That is, from Kang's direction, the left side of the yellow.
Nice.
Excellent, but not an easy follow-on.
Is he going 5 rails here? He did a nice
Yes.
job of missing that kiss. He had to drive it past the yellow.
Beautiful last-ditch kind of shot.
Gee, there must be a couple of little pieces of chalk on the cloth
Yes,
there.
you saw the
cue ball wobbled.
the way the cue ball deviated after it passed the yellow. Mike's so concerned about the shots, he didn't even take time to try to get the piece of dirt off the table.
He didn't notice it.
A run of 3 difficult shots when on the verge of losing the game shows some genuine character.
Now he's
It
within
would have
range.
been so easy to fold against the world champion, who averages almost 0.7 better than Mike usually does.
He only needs 5 more. Can you imagine missing that shot? It's a perfect shot to make with position. He needed 5. He'll be thinking about that tonight.
Well, it's so close now that it's almost anybody's game. Blomdahl needs 2 only. Kang needs 5.
And Blomdahl does not have a
Blomdahl-
good setup there.
No, I think we can expect a brilliant conception here, though. Oh, immense reverse off the white down to the short rail. Is that it?
I don't know what he's doing.
Yes, immense reverse.
Oh gosh, what
He
a
has a great
shot.
chance. Absolutely world champion caliber.
What a shot.
I mean, from the way he was aiming it, I was able to guess what shot he was trying, but I didn't expect him to make it.
That was fabulous. He needs 1 to go out. He's going to play at 6 rails, I guess. No, he's not.
Yeah, 6 or 7. He's reconsidered. The white ball is
Yeah.
really quite far out from the corner.
Yeah,
It's more than a diamond away.
and that means you'd have to hit the second rail too near the white. You might even hit the white.
Yes. Possibly a cross table shot is better here.
I
That's
think
what he's
he's
trying.
coming back short.
Think so?
Mm-hmm. There it is.
Yes. That's incredible.
Oh, that's beautiful play.
And so
That's-
Blomdahl takes the match with Mike Kang needing 5 points.
That's a good showing by Mike, and it shows that the handicap is really a pretty good
Really
one.
pretty, yes, that's right.
Mhm.
Blomdahl beat the handicap by 5 points only in a match to 50.
Well, I'm Bob Byrne, and my guest has been Mike Shamus of the Billiard Archive. And thanks you for watching. And on behalf of AccuStats and Pat Fleming and his son Pat Jr., who is doing some of the camera work, I want to say goodbye and good shooting.